bay scallops. You could live off these flats with no problem whatsoever. The only thing not provided is the chilled Chablis. But most of the people aren't diggers, they're beachcombers, people on vacation who wander out to see what there is to find. From a mile away they look like moving specks. Tall, dark, slow-moving lines are adults. Short specks that dawdle or run on winking legs are children. Sometimes you can see low specks that travel with incredible speed and leap into the air. The faint barking tells you they are dogs. Occasionally the wind will bring the sound of laughter or a mother calling a child from miles away. And it is weird, even unsettling, to hear the voices and laughter clearly, coming from these tiny dots that move slowly to and fro on the shimmering sand far, far away. It is quiet when the tide is out. Gone is the crump and hiss of breaking waves. The gulls don't shriek overhead. They are out on the flats, waddling around officiously, pausing, pecking, squabbling, and gobbling up the tiny hermit crabs, no bigger than garden spiders that scamper in the shallow tide pools. Looming is what Melville called it, an optical phenomenon caused by thermal inversions in the atmosphere. These thermal inversions have the effect of layering the air, and these layers, like the elements of a lens, cause light waves to bend, allowing objects between the horizon to seem visible. The object floats high over the horizon upside down and shimmers ghost-like in the dancing air currents. It happens a lot in our corner of the bay. The far-off sounds, the wrecked ship, the ghostly and desolate flats, all of these add to the general feeling of the place. And if a vacation is a change, then Sunken Meadow Beach overlooking Billingsgate Sound is a vacation indeed from the pine forests, hills, and thick meadows of Concord. One morning in late summer I got up just a bit too early, 3 hours too early. It was getting to be a habit. I couldn't sleep. Mo Abramson, my colleague, said it was only a midlife reshuffling of values and not to worry. He gave me pills to help my depression and insomnia. Mary said it was because I'm an idealist and a dreamer and wanted everything to be perfect. She gave me loving and scolding to help my depression and insomnia. Gee, I had lots of help. It wasn't working. Every night for 3 weeks I had risen between 3 and 4 a.m., not rested. I had awakened exhausted and irritable. The month-long vacation was supposed to cure all this. It didn't. It seemed to intensify it. Mary, my short-suffering wife, wasn't about to put up with much more of my Weltschmerz. "Shape up or take a hike, pal," was her comment. Who could blame her? So there I was at 5 a.m., out on the deck of our cottage, gazing off over Cape Cod Bay. The tide was out. I was looking mostly at the immense expanse of tidal flats. It was so early all things were dim and blurry. Most of what I looked at was full of the fuzzy little specks of nighttime vision. I was still half asleep. Or was I asleep, finally, and dreaming this? No, I was awake. I'd almost forgotten what sleep felt like. I sat and propped my feet up on the railing and stared at the vast gray emptiness before me. I waited an hour. I could either take a downer and return to the sack or have coffee and make it another early day. I decided on the coffee. When it was perking, I heard the bedroom door open and Mary came out in her robe. She comes to coffee like a buzzard to a bloated carcass. She can see and smell it, sense it a mile away. She sat down next to me with her mug and drew the robe tight around her. In the semi-darkness, she looked very dark, like a black woman. When a Calabrian spends 3 weeks on the beach, the results are awesome. "Again, huh?" "Uh-huh." There was a slow sigh. "How far did you run yesterday?" 7 miles. "And you took 2 sauna baths? You had a split of wine with a big dinner, and you can't sleep?" "I think the running makes you sleep less. You sleep harder or something. But that's not it. Basically, Toots, I don't want to be who I am." She absorbed this minor detail in silence. "You what?" "I don't want to be Dr. Charles Adams, tooth puller." "I'm so worried about you lately, Charlie. We thought the month down here would help you, but I think it's made things worse." "Yeah, I think you're right. And now I'm beginning to see what the problem really is." "What?" She looked at me, searching for a ray of hope. "Boredom. It's what you've been saying, Mary. We've got it. We've done it, so what do we do now? I think what set this whole depression off was a line I read in John Berryman's dream songs." "Who? What? Never heard of him." John Berryman was an alcoholic poet who ended his life by doing a swan dive off a bridge at the University of Minnesota and blasting himself to pieces on the rocks 100 feet below. "Oh, that John Berryman. Christ, no wonder you're depressed." No, his death was the good part, the funsies at the end. It's the words he wrote, a line from dream songs, that's got me down. It's got me down because it's so damn true. And the line is, "Life, friends, is boring. We must not say so." Another silence. "That's it?" "Yep." "Well, Charlie, I think you should go and see Mo Abramson on a regular basis." "Nah, I already asked him about therapy, and he said I don't need it. But I'll tell you, this vacation has done me no good, and I don't want to return to my practice. I don't seem to want to do anything, including sleep. It's all boring, Mary, boring." She snuggled her fanny down on my lap and put her arms around my neck. Thank God for her, at least. "What about Betsy Kelly?" I luxuriated in the thought of Betsy Kelly, which is not her real name. If I want anything on my tombstone, and I suppose I'm bound to have one, another discouraging thought, it's the fact that I performed a 4-hour operation on a girl that changed her appearance, personality, and her whole life. Betsy Kelly was born, poor thing, with a prognathic jaw so pronounced it made her look like a cross between a bulldog and a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Needless to say, she wasn't pretty. But 4 hours under the knife, bone saw, chisel, and mallet had made her emerge looking not only normal but almost pretty. Her parents cried and wrung my hands for 3 hours. That wasn't pulling teeth. If all my patients were Betsy Kellys, I'd be the happiest person on earth. But you're not. No, I'm dissatisfied and bored. Look, you can't keep being a dropout, Charlie. You left medicine after 2 years, when Peter died. When Peter died. Then you settled on dentistry. And that was really boring. Fine. Then you compromised on oral surgery, a profession that combined medicine, surgery, and dentistry. You're good at it. You've provided for us well with it. What are you staring at? There's something out on Billingsgate. A dark blob. You see it? Uh-huh. But what I'm driving at is this. That's 2 dropouts in your life, Charlie. You can't do it again. You're almost 50. Especially when you're so good. It looks small from here, but of course it's over 2 miles away. It's not a tent or a trailer. It's got to be a boat. I think Mo can have you squared away in no time, and I think you should read Passages. It explains a lot about these midlife crises. Yeah, it's a boat. Aground out there in the sand. You know, Mo really thinks you're very talented. But why do they run her aground? Maybe they just want to get her hull up out of the water to work on it. Maybe just a couple of talks with Mo. Maybe he could make a few concrete suggestions. I left the deck and retrieved my aluminum camera case from the inner depths of our bedroom closet. I keep it hidden there under piles of dirty clothes in the hopes that thieves, if any, will overlook it. I took out the Canon F1, a 500mm lens, and grabbed my tripod. I returned to the sun deck and rigged up the equipment. What I now had, besides a camera, was a telescope of sorts. Viewing through the camera, I could get a close look at the boat wedged up against the toe of Billingsgate Shoal. "Will you see Mo or not?" Mary demanded, taking little interest in the proceedings. "Sure, I'll see Mo. I always see Mo. His office is 2 doors down from mine, remember? Except that if I let him think even for a second it's professional, the Shylock will take me for every cent we've got." She sat back down in the chair. "I'm assuming," she said with a deep frown, "that's meant in irony?" "Of course. The dope gives away more than he earns, and he earns plenty, believe me. The jerk doesn't even buy himself a house. Do you know that Airstream he lives in was built in 1957? Can you believe it? One of New England's finest shrinks living in a beat-up old trailer in Walden Breezes Park. But you know what they say about psychiatrists. They're all nuts.